as you know, we all lost Whitney Houston on Saturday. Rickey Minor, you were her musical director, right, Rickey?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Whitney that we don't know?
Yeah, I mean...
Have you worked with Prince?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Beyoncé was 15 when I met her and worked with her. Usher, he was 14 when I met him.
What were your experiences with Michael Jackson?
He was definitely really... there's Ray and there's Stevie. You guys mind if I take a picture?
Yeah.
Ray said, man, just take the picture. He won't know, he's blind.
Welcome to my podcast, today with Rickey Minor. I'm so happy to have you as my guest today. And I want to introduce you as an Emmy Award-winning music director, composer, producer for the Oscars, the Grammys, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, American Idol, and Superbowl. That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 12 notes of music. No one gets any more, so you just take those and put your love on it.
I mean, I should say this like 4 more times because... Okay, Superbowl. Jay Leno. Oh my God. I've watched Jay Leno when I still lived in Germany, and it was, to me, what an incredible show. And that guy has written history, and
yeah,
you must have had the craziest guests there that you witnessed. And
yeah, I mean, sometimes, you get an artist. I mean, Bette Midler came on, and at that time, Jay wasn't, he wasn't the head of the Tonight Show. At that time, it was Johnny Carson. And Bette Midler came on, so they called me to do it because the Tonight Show with Doc Severinsen, that's not the kind of music that they do. So they have guest artists come on sometime, and they need someone to come in and help out.
Right, yeah.
So I started doing that, and that's how I met Jay. Then he started subbing for Johnny Carson, and then then it kind of all took off from there.
So Jay Leno, is he the same person in private that we know of like in front of the camera?
He is exactly what you see. That's who he is. And hey, look, he loves to laugh, loves to have fun. And we had the time of our life. I mean, we were so happy on that show. But like everything, I mean, everything has a beginning and an end.
Yeah, he's such an original and such a unique human being. I always love originals and memorable people. He's like one of the most memorable people ever.
Yeah, he really is, man.
And then Oscars, you've done the music for many of the Oscars?
Yeah, I've done 4.
4, yeah. It's incredible. And so you arrange, you compose, you direct. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, well, like I said, with music, it's 12 notes. So
no, it's more than that. Don't be too humble.
But they're, for all of us, we have the same playground to play in. And a C or C sharp, or you said.
But some find the magic in those 12 notes.
You find it in there, and it's music is a high vibration. I mean, it's one of the highest vibrations on the planet.
It is.
We can literally change the molecular structure. I mean, you can feel one way, and you put a piece of music on, and next thing you know, like, I feel good.
Yeah.
And so it really changes, but it also helps dictate, even when you're not feeling great. It helps you tap into your soul.
Yeah.
And so. And it gives you permission. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be solemn. It's okay to go inward.
That's so profound. Yeah, allowing people to cry because you put in a very sad song.
Yeah.
And then people would never cry otherwise, and suddenly they have tears, and it's because of you, or because you give them a reason and a permission. That's incredible.
Well, life is to be lived, to me, is to be lived from the inside out, not the outside in. So if we go inside, then we can be in touch with who we are, what we want out of life. And I believe that the things that you want in life, it seeks you. It's a Rumi quote,
Wow.
That this thing that called you, but you just have to do the work. It's not going to come to you without the work.
So you feel you've made more people cry or more people laugh in your life?
Well, it depends. Maybe they laugh at what I played, or maybe they cry because of something that I didn't play. Like, I'm so glad he didn't.
Like with Jay Leno, you were part of a lot of jokes, and then
all the jokes, all the jokes, all the time. No, look, I mean, I think that for all of us to experience life and love through art and music, is so. Touching, like you don't even know it's coming. I mean, you're sitting there and you you're watching a movie. Next thing you're crying. Like, why am I crying?
Yeah.
But it touches you in a way that only music can.
Yeah.
And only dialogue and the tone of your voice. It's not, when I say music, it's not just the 12, tones that we know, but it's all the in-between stuff that kind of your a hair on your arm stand up and you feel this emotion, you know? And that's what music is to do. And it makes you, to dance, to sing, to laugh, you know, and to cry.
Are you more of a rhythmic person, or how would you describe your musical character?
I'm silly, so I love to laugh. And so I think that I love to have fun. So if I'm not having fun, then I need to change whatever that is. And that means having fun, even making from conducting to playing to developing a motif and then letting that unfold,
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's important to not try to dictate what happens.
What is improvisation to you?
Well, I think that if you can figure out how to get out of your own way, then there's a lot there for you. And when we say it's 12 notes, and that's fine, but it's what you put on the note. It's the love you put on it. I mean, just one note could just kind of melt you, And you know that you do it all the time, every day, where you write a song and it not only touches others, but it touches you, and it can't go anywhere until you put yourself in it. You know?
Yeah. Find that common denominator that just makes everyone feel something.
Yeah.
That's great. And I mean, I've got to say it, you've worked with Whitney Houston and you've known her very well. And can you tell us a little bit about the Whitney that we don't know?
Oh, well, I mean, it's so amazing. I mean, her spirit, and she was so silly.
Yeah.
I mean, she would all have little pranks, or she'd come behind me and pop me on the ear. I mean, just silly and fun. And I met her when I was about 22, and she was 18, and trying to get a record deal. And I met her through her then music director was a guy named John Simmons, really great, a pianist and funny and great leader. And so he hired me to do the first tour after she got her record deal, and the first record came out. And I played bass on the first tour. And I remember he would. I watched how he ran the band and how he did those things. And then after that tour, I'd gone on to tour with Al Jarreau.
Oh,
and so we were touring, and Whitney called me.
Al Jarreau was complicated music. Like he was really like testing your musicianship, I guess.
Always. Yeah. And we had a great band. That band was great. And and I also worked with Gladys Knight. That was my very first job.
Wow.
And that was when I was I think 19 or so.
But keep going with Whitney. I want to know all about Whitney.
So I'm leading up to that. So I'm on this. I work with Gladys, and so I meet Whitney, and they already told her that I work with Gladys. So she was like, "What's that like? What's it like to work with Gladys Knight?" I mean, And so she was so enamored by and appreciative of the work. So anyway, I ended up leaving the Gladys gig. And I ended up doing Dreamgirls, and then that led me. That's the thing that led me to the Whitney part of it, because of that job, I ended up meeting her then music director, and he passed away. And she called and asked me, said, "I'm going to need you," and then we just started, building and growing and building a relationship, honest relationship, and really we're really close. And then it happened to me that really it's the "I Will Always Love You" lyrics. I mean, I had to leave. I had a son, and I had been on the road for 20 years, and it's time for me to be home. And and I said to her, almost the lyrics, which is, I just be in your way because I need to be where I need to be, and I can't do it anymore. But we remain close. And I happened to have a meal with her the day before she passed away.
Yeah, I was also at Clive Davis' party when she was upstairs in the hotel room in the bathtub. That was so sad.
Yeah, and Clive asked, what should we do? Should we call the meeting?
I remember. Yeah, he was like talking to the audience. Shall we continue, or shall we call this a night? And what would she want?
Right.
And then it was a long pause, and he came back and said, no, she might want this to continue.
Yeah. And that's what I said to him. I said, I believe that all of us, what are we all going to do? Go home and be sad?
Yeah.
Or stay here and celebrate?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But he really, that was a wonderful thing to do for her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Wow.
It's a hard one.
And then I got to ask you about Ray Charles as well.
Yeah. It's funny. So the first time that I got a chance to work with Ray Charles, we were doing, I forget which awards show or something, and he said, he came in the room, I'm waiting in the green room, and I get there early because I'm a Virgo, so I don't even know how to be late. I tried, but I can't figure it out. But so I get there, and I'm sitting in the green room by myself,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the Kennedy Center Honors, and Quincy's being honored. So there's Ray, and there's Stevie,
Mm-hmm.
and they both come in at the same time.
Oh, wow.
And so I knew Ray, of course. I knew Stevie, and I said, "Do you guys mind if I take a picture?" I said, I said, Ray, I said, "You mind if I take a picture with you and Stevie?" And he said, "Ask Stevie." So I asked Stevie. I said, "Stevie, you mind?" And he said, "Ask Ray."
Yeah.
And Ray said, "Man, just take the picture. He won't know. He's blind." And so they let me take the picture, and it was Paul Jackson Jr. was playing guitar on the gig, and he had a little disposable camera. Mm-hmm. He took the picture, and I never saw it. I mean, he doesn't know what he did with the thing. So he's not my friend anymore. No. He says, "No, I want to find it." I'm like, "Okay, you're going to find it one day."
But those are the legends.
Yeah.
I mean, Whitney, Ray Charles, and you've worked with so many of those. What is a normal day in your life like?
I think I like to be outdoors, and I like taking long walks.
Yeah, and we are neighbors, so we enjoy the same hikes that we have around our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's lovely. We got the lake, we got the mountain.
Yeah, and the thing is that, it doesn't fall short of me. Like, we're not going to be here forever. It's not. It's not happening. So enjoy each day. So I try to live each day the fullest, get every ounce, squeeze every ounce of kindness, love, and respect. And the fact that I get to make music, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So this week you've done a very big award show honoring Whitney, right?
Yeah. We did. I think it was a week or two ago, but it was the American Music Awards 50th anniversary.
So what's the process? You get the gig, or and then where do you start? You get the songs. You're going to do these songs. Then do you sit down at the piano and start your arrangements, or how do you work?
No, I think that what in general there's a big team. Like, I don't, rarely, other than someone like Prince, does someone do everything, So,
and have you worked with Prince?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
One time, it was really funny though. For a long time, it was so funny. A long time, he would see me and I say hi or whatever, and then he said one time I was doing a thing with Whitney, and so I somehow I ended up sitting in her seat, which was next to him, and he doesn't look at me. He's looking forward, and he goes, "I like what you do." And I said,
I could see that.
"Thanks." And then then the next thing, I get a call about a week later.
Yeah.
And "We have Prince on the phone for you."
Oh my God.
I said, "Okay." And so I pick up the phone, and he says, "I'm doing something, but I want you to play with me."
Nice.
And so so he tells me the dates. I'm not available for the date, and he says, "Okay, I'll call you back." But it was always mysterious. I mean, and I love that about him. I love
his mind probably processing 100 possibilities at that moment.
And then so he called me back. He says, "I'm doing a performance, and I want you to play, and we're rehearsing starting Monday for 2 weeks." And I was like, "I'm not available for 2 weeks. I'm not, I mean, I don't have it where I can just drop the stuff." So I said, "But, if you have something, that about and you can let me know sooner,
Mm-hmm.
I can make arrangements, yeah, but that was it. And then he,
So you never got to play with him then?
no.
Yeah, that's quite demanding.
Yeah.
I
And when he talked to me, he was facing out, and he goes, "I like what you do," and he kind of looks over side
eye.
It's like, "Thanks."
Yeah. But back to a day in your life. Let's say a day when you have a show coming up.
Right.
Like how's your work routine?
It's every day and all day. So I have a team of folks from assistants and people to help.
Yeah.
And we deal with all of the logistics of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And then musically, I have the first conversations with the artist.
Mm-hmm.
What is the emotion that you're looking for, and how can I support that?
Mm-hmm.
So with Jennifer Hudson for that performance, she called and said she wanted to do this for the AMAs, and we sat down and I kind of tore apart what the original medley was,
Yeah.
because it was the original performance was 10 and a half minutes, and this is in 1994 when no one got that kind of time on TV.
Yeah.
But I met with her, and she learned this whole medley, and this is the one that she wanted. But see, this is a time when social media wasn't around.
Yeah.
People didn't have portable phones or recorders or anything.
Yeah.
So we did that Whitney's performance all around the world, but no one had it recorded. So by the time we came to LA and did it, we could have done that 10 and a half minutes with our eyes closed, because we
Right.
knew it so well.
Yeah.
And she knew it so well, and she knew how to kind of take her time and do it. It was a Porgy and Bess medley.
So how many shows did you play with Whitney in total?
Oh, I don't even know what that number is,
That
but
sounds
it's definitely
like-
a big number. I mean, I was 22, and I left when I was 40.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
something like that, 39, 40, somewhere around
You
that
must
time
have been
when I
like
left.
a mentor, a brother, and
Oh, yeah,
everything
no,
to her.
No,
like-
we were really, really close and talked about everything, and and she, it's hard. It's hard because when all eyes are on you,
Yeah.
like, I don't know what that feels like, because people I work with go, "Hey, okay, good, glad you were here, bye."
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's not. There's no real relationship there, and to be in the spotlight, it has to be hard for artists, because I think that people look at that and go, they love to love you and they love to hate you,
Yeah.
and so people are always looking for a dent in the armor,
Yeah, and Whitney's seen both sides, yeah.
Yeah.
You at 18 years old, who were you? And you now, who are you? Like if you juxtapose
Oh, wow.
those two Rickey Minors.
The 18-year-old me didn't understand anything that said that it's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
The young Rickey never took no for an answer and just worked harder.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and the me that I am now understands that it takes that to continue.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a time where you can let off and go, I'm just going to phone this performance in or this arrangement in or this stuff in. So it takes a lot of people. Surround yourself by the best people.
Yeah.
And then let them do their job. You
Yeah.
know, don't micromanage. I don't, because they wouldn't be there if they weren't there to contribute.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're just taking up space, and who wants that?
Now looking back, what would you do different? Or what do you wish you would have done different?
Nothing.
Good. Wow. That's
Nothing.
a great answer.
Because for those of us who have survived,
yeah.
whatever it is, health or family or job or whatever, for those of us who have survived, there are no losses, only lessons.
Great.
So what is the lesson that I need to learn from this? If there's a difficult time, there's a lesson to be learned there.
Mm-hmm.
And the number one to me is learning the power.
Mm-hmm.
The power is in letting go.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in holding on to anything or anyone that doesn't make you better. And if you're holding on to this stuff, then you're angry with someone they don't even know.
Right.
You're
Shadow boxing all night.
No.
Yeah.
So I think the power is in letting go and not take it personal. I mean, I think even if someone meant it personal, doesn't mean you have to take it.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what they're going through. See, everyone's at a different spot, every moment to moment
Yeah.
in life. They're in a different place, And I mean, my grandmother used to say things to me like, "Can't get what you want, maybe you're not ready for it." You know, all these little quotes. The same thing I said to you about you know, the best version of you is good enough. The one that's not the best is not so good.
And looking forward, any bucket list items?
No, I mean, I think that, you know, I'm grateful because I've gotten a chance to live a life that most people only dream of, to have experienced it one time.
Yeah.
Just one time to be on stage. The first time I was on the Grammy stage in 1982 with Gladys Knight.
Yeah.
And I'd never played with an orchestra, and we played with the Grammy Orchestra at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember looking back on this and saying to myself, you know, I didn't say it out loud, but I said, welcome home. You know, because then you know when it's right. When it's right, when you're home, you know it. And you know the same thing in relationships, friendships, jobs.
So you're also a very intuitive person. Like, you make decisions on based what feels right.
Yeah. If it doesn't feel right, then it's probably not right. You know, and I'm not right for everything. I'm okay with that. You know, I get in where I fit in, show up, and show out, and shut up. So one quick thing, I'm not sure if this is like, there's a couple of years ago, the blurred line case, right? Right.
That really bothered me. With Pharrell and with Robin Thicke. I think both of them at the time were too busy with fame to really bother with the case, but the case profoundly impacted the music industry to a point where no one was sure anymore what copyright was. Right. And I felt that the judges had the jurors had no idea what is the difference between arrangement and copyright. Right. And I think you are the number one expert in America with arrangement. I think if they would have brought you to the witness stand and you would have explained to these people what's the difference between arrangement and composition, I think that they would have never lost. Yeah.
I don't recall as much during that time. It was a really busy time for me with not only work, but family and stuff too around that time. But the song, even still now, is you know,
no similarity with composition.
Yeah, but it's so catchy that it just makes you feel good immediately just from the first notes. You know, and there's magic in those notes. But you know, it is hard. The business of music is something that I'm that I stay back away from, because otherwise I could get really involved in the business side of it. So you hire the right people and let them do their jobs and have representation that watch over and make sure that you're covered. And that way I can stay focused on the music.
What are some of the craziest moments of your career?
I think when we were getting ready for Whitney's tour in 1991, and that was the first tour that I was music director for. Well, no, actually, I was music director in, I think it was 89. But at any rate, I remember that first time when I was in charge and I had this big responsibility. It's not like I'm playing at the local high school. This is Whitney Houston.
This is global.
And so we're getting ready for the tour, and she gets the call to sing the national anthem for the Superbowl. And in the meantime, I'm preparing the tour and trying to get the band ready for that. And she said to me, I said, well, is there anything how do you want to do it? She says, Rickey, I don't know what he did, but Marvin Gaye sang the national anthem for the All-Star game. And he took his time. And I don't know what that was, but he was able to take his time and lean into the lyrics and put the emotion in, and I want to do that. And at the time, I was studying upright bass from John Clayton Jr., and who's a amazing arranger and bassist and all around great guy. And I called him and I gave him the information that Whitney said, and we ended up, doing it in 4/4, taking it out of the walls tempo. We gave her time, and the rest is history, you know. And that's the same thing. I mean, there's producer, arranger, composer, all those different titles, and I think that's where the magic comes, when everyone contributes and can contribute at that high level. And so John did such a great job, and the NFL didn't like it because it was too different.
Oh, really?
It was like, how are people going to sing?
Well, it's art. You're
No, but
constantly...
how are people going to sing with that? Like, they know it how they know it. They know, oh, say, can you see? 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We were, oh, say, 2, can you see?
But she can afford to have these long notes, and they just breathe. And
Yeah.
the longer she holds these notes, the more magic is in these notes. Like,
Yeah, no, and so but that to me was the moment that I knew that I could actually do this for a living. Like I could, because I mean, when
basically
you're young,
you can
don't
mess
know.
with the music and reshuffle it and see what comes out, and then whatever
But,
excites
like I
you,
said,
you
that
take these
idea
bits.
that idea came from her. The arrangements, John, and I was the producer, and was happy to be there to help find that sweet spot. Because that's what we're always looking for. What is that emotion that we want? What do we want to feel? What do we want the artist to feel so that they can convey to the fans what the song is about?
What was one of your biggest surprises in your life?
I think the fact that I was able to transition from being on the road and working in television and doing event performances, and that part of it was pretty surprising because, coming into it, you know what you know, and then there's everything else. So I was limited in my experience. But, I kept asking questions, and I'd call people like Quincy Jones and call Stevie Wonder and call different people who I work with to ask questions, Bette Midler, I mean, whoever it was. And so I became a sponge. So always looking, listening, watching. And I think that's what pays off, because I think you have to lay back. You can't crowd them in it. At the same time, you can just, by being in their presence, you can feel, and it gives you inspiration from within. Like I said, it's inside out. And so sure you're moved by music from the outside, but if it's coming from the inside where you feel these lyrics, this melody, it moves you. It just moves your whole body
to a point where you want to share it with the world, and then that's what you're doing. You're sharing these feelings. I'm thinking back to the time when we first interacted. I'm remembering, I think it must have been 2014 or 15. We were doing X Factor, and every Sunday we were with Simon Cowell at his house going over the songs and the contestants. Every Sunday morning. I met you with the latest songs at the Capitol studio at the bottom of that round Capitol building. And you had a whole orchestra, and you would, like, within minutes, you would put that orchestra onto the songs we were doing. And then a whole choir as well. And I brought my little daughter. She must have been, 5 at the time. And you
How old is she now?
Now she's 15.
Okay.
But at that time, I'll never forget, you gave her a magic wand and you let her direct the orchestra, conduct the orchestra with the magic wand. And that was unforgettable. Who does that?
Well, this past year, I do, because this past year at rehearsal for the Oscars, I had my wife and daughter drop by, and I have a video. I put my daughter on the podium because she watches me, so she's got the baton there, and she starts conducting the orchestra, and they follow her, and it's the cutest thing. I mean,
and was she on time?
It was, and something that I started up with her hand, and I'll show you afterwards. But then she starts moving her legs and her hands and everything. So and I said to the orchestra, I said, I had her come and do this because I believe that we need more female conductors.
Yes.
I said, and there'll come a time when I'm sure she'll conduct the Oscars, and people say, well, so is this your first time? She says, no, roll the tape. Show them my first time when I was 5 years old and I did it.
Yeah, that was unforgettable. That was really, really special.
Yeah, so I recorded it, and so I have it to leave for her when she gets to the point where she wants to explore whatever. But she's got perfect pitch. She plays piano, she plays the djembe, the glockenspiel. I mean, she's playing all these instruments. She acts for them.
You jam with her?
No.
No.
She'll tell me even, like if I'm singing, she says, Daddy, don't sing.
Oh, I get that all the time from my daughter.
Yeah, don't sing. I was like, what? I said, what do you think I do for a living? She says, take me to school. That's what you do for a living. No, but she's funny.
So this podcast is for anyone who wants to make music or is interested in music. So do you have a few pointers and tips and advice that you want to give to, let's say, aspiring writers, artists?
Yeah, I toured for a while with Al Jarreau, and there was one song that we played a lot, and I never really listened closely to the music. I was just busy playing and singing background and what have you. And but the song is called Wait a Little While. And the lyrics are simply, wait a little while and welcome what you're after. Give it some time and it'll find its way to you. As soon as you no longer try, you're going to turn and find it standing by your side.
Nice.
Don't forget it. If you let it, it'll come to you.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And so I remember hearing that, and it touched me in such a way that it made me feel that I could do anything. You know? That it was possible, that if I do the work, and and he said, and he had another song that I loved too, because I really loved his writing. He had a song called More Love, and it's about a child and the parent, and it's what would I have given if I only could have taken my eyes off of me for a while? I'd have found the hurting hiding just behind the curtain of your smile. And it says, and now I know, which goes to show how long it takes a man to be a man.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I think of Al Jarreau, so I'm thinking, when I was 7, my mom left us, and she moved to London. We were in Germany, and I visited her. I think I must have been 13 or 14. And we had no respect. She was squatting in houses that were burning down and so on. But I came once with 7 friends. Another time I brought, I think, 16 friends to her house for 2 weeks, told everyone we're doing a vacation camp. And Al Jarreau was the one thing that was playing on my Sony Walkman. And I just remember running through London by myself, feeling like this lost child. And Al Jarreau was kind of the soundtrack to that back then. And
what year was that?
That must have been, he's 1980 maybe?
Yeah. I started...
81?
Yeah, and I started with him in 83.
Yeah. Incredible musician, great singer, beautiful songwriter, really special. Yeah. That was very good.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, I couldn't believe that I was playing with him. I mean, I was, I still feel that, I know what I know, but then there's so much to know and to learn. And so it's just, that's, that one song, give me just a little more time. There's a song, and our love will slowly grow. He was, pleading to this girl, and I think, like, 1 lifetime is not enough, but I say 3 is not enough. I mean, because there's so much to experience, to feel, and we have to give ourselves permission to.
He also brought
feel,
real musicianship into, like, what Jacob Collier is doing now as well, like being such a pure, insanely talented musician that people notice, and it becomes almost popular, or it becomes popular. Yeah. It's that's incredible, if someone like real musicianship and not just the 3 pop chords, but you actually make it challenging. So if I say one word, let me know what comes to your mind.
Okay.
Yeah, spirituality.
Definitely something that needs to happen daily in order for you to grow. And I think in a lot of situations we stay too long in relationships, friendships, jobs. We stay too long, and understanding that everything has a beginning and an end, and it's okay to leave, and you don't have to leave mad or angry or sad, but when it's time, you know it, and so your voice, it'll speak to you.
Confidence.
I think when you prepare, then you have no anxiety. So in order to have confidence, it takes preparation, and you have to work on it and work on it and work on it, and you'll know when it's time. And a lot of times, like I said, it appears. Next thing your phone ring, and it's whoever it is, and you get this call and says, "Are you available?" And you go, you sure you have the right number? Because you can't believe that you're getting these calls. But
I think real confidence also though, that once you're like in tune with yourself and you kind of find yourself, then you have this natural confidence where you're making the intuitively right decisions at the right time and everything feels aligned.
And you're right. It really requires you to remove self-judgment, because that's the thing. I mean, the biggest critic is you. And people usually don't think that they're good enough, and they try to talk themselves out of continuing it. And sometimes it's not for you. I get that, but a lot of people have a lot of great talent. But the things that I do yoga, and one of my meditation practices is to meditate and let go of three things: doubt, worry, and fear.
Wow.
They don't serve you. They don't make you better. So you're doubtful that it's going to be any good. You're fearful that people won't like it, and it's letting go of that judgment on yourself.
And welcome play and experimentation and joy.
My son said to me one day, I was taking him to school, and he was about 6 at the time. He goes, riding in the car, he goes, Dad, do you work? And I said, yeah, I work. Why do you ask that? He says, well, Johnny's dad drops him off, and he says, my dad's going to work. And every time you drop me off, you say you're going to play.
Yeah. That's very good.
And I said, you know what? I said, you're right. I said, actually, I don't work.
Yeah.
I said, and here's the key. If you do what you love and love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
So I don't remember ever working as it relates to music. I mean, I had some, odd jobs and working at the cafeteria at school. But that's it.
What's like your favorite book and your favorite movie? Like two things you would want to recommend to our viewers.
Wow, book and movie. There was a book that I read called Codependent No More. And I actually wrote a book based on things my grandmother said, which is there's no traffic on the extra mile. And what this whole thing did for me, I think having that for me was important, having the book to read and really, what was the name of the book I said? I just forgot now.
There's no traffic on the extra mile?
No, the one before that. Codependent No More.
That's right, Codependent No More. We have it.
That book, Codependent No More, because I had what I talked about in my book. I had the disease to please. Everywhere I went, I had to make sure that everyone was okay. I wanted to be a pleaser.
That's profound.
And so I had the disease to please, and I didn't understand the law of nature, which is if you don't go, you won't grow. So you can't stay in one place and stay in this relationship knowing it's not good, but try to find the relationship that is for you.
Yeah.
So I think that was the big thing, that if you don't go, you won't grow.
The power to say no.
The power to say no.
Yeah.
And I can be anywhere. I don't have to be here. So I'm very thoughtful in the jobs I take. I don't take them just because they come, but it is important that you find peace from inside. Because again, we're back to, I keep going to it, but inside out. Yeah. So when you let all the energy from the outside world come in, it becomes really challenging because you're trying to take on the world.
It's also like finding that, maybe me also, for too long I felt I've been just reactive instead of proactive. And like everything that came to me, all the artists, everyone who wants to work with me, I say yes, because I don't want to miss out. But really now I've allowed myself to not write for a while and just see what do I actually want, and give yourself that time to find that and to ask yourself that question. I think it's really important. Yeah.
I mean, I believe that everyone is worth your time, but not everybody's ready for it. So you have to make a decision to say, I don't think I'm right for this, and not take it.
Yeah.
Don't take it for the fame or the money or anything.
Yeah.
Take it because this is what you want in your life at this moment.
Yeah.
Be present always. Stay present.
What's like one song or one record you've listened to the most in your life?
One record, one song.
The one record that you've worn out. If it were vinyl, there wouldn't be tracks anymore.
Yeah, it's Shirley Horn, Here's to Life.
How does that go?
No mistakes, no regrets. I still believe in chasing dreams and getting wet. But I have learned that all you get is all you give. So give it all you got.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful piece of music. Here's to Life.
Nice.
Yeah, I just did Jimmy Carter's 100th birthday celebration special, and that was Layla Hathaway performed it, but the original was Shirley Horn, who recorded the original, and Johnny Mandel did the arrangement. It was just beautiful, man. If you don't cry on that, you got to kind of pinch yourself and go, am I alive, actually? Because it's moving.
And favorite movie?
I think, I have a lot of them, so let me whittle it down. I think when I was growing up, I really loved all the Shaft movies where he's a cop and he's, taking care of business, all that. But then at the same time, I love dramatic movies stuff. I loved all the Godfather movies, there's quite a bit. I mean, I used to watch TV a lot. I mean, now I don't have much time to watch a lot of TV, but yeah, those made an impact on me. And as a kid, I mean, everyone loved Batman and Robin and all the cartoons and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, one last quick things. I'm going to ask you, and like one-word answers.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay. Mountains or oceans?
Mountains.
Okay. Hiking or biking?
Hiking.
Okay. Piano or guitar?
Bass. No, piano.
Prince or Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson. Prince Michael Jackson. No, I would probably say, wow, that's a hard one. They both dance well, they both sing well, they both write great songs. Can I blend them? No, probably my generation was probably more Michael. Yeah, in the Jackson 5. I mean, that's why I play bass. I don't know if you even knew that.
Yeah, I know you play.
Yeah, I play. No, that's why I play bass. I play bass because of Jermaine Jackson.
Oh no, I did not know that.
So I'll tell you this quick story when you're finished. I'll tell you. I got a story about those guys.
Okay, rivers or oceans?
Rivers.
Rivers. Okay. Forests or meadows?
Forest.
Steak or salad?
Salad.
Mars or Earth?
Earth.
Okay. Trekking, tent, exploring, vacation, or cruise ship?
Cruise ship. Yeah, I don't want to be eaten by a bear. I can't do that.
Okay. Stoplights or roundabouts?
Stoplights.
So that's one that's really bothering me. After we spent half a year in London, and for the most intersections are roundabouts, and the traffic flows day and night.
I know.
And here everything comes to a stop every minute.
Yeah, I know.
I'm thinking half of the stoplights should be replaced with roundabouts.
Yeah, well, a lot of them are being replaced now here in town.
Good.
I think they heard your request.
Yeah. Fruits or ice cream?
Fruit.
Okay. What else do we have? Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Okay. Hollywood or Bollywood?
Hollywood.
Can you tell us the Jackson 5 story?
Yeah, so my family is from Louisiana in the South, and my grandmother brought the whole family to California. She came to visit her brother, said, this is where we need to be, took a job, and she ended up working for Steve McQueen, the actor, as a housekeeper because she only had a 6th grade education. So they hired her, and she sent for an uncle and aunt, and then they got jobs, and it took about 1.5 years to get the whole family here. And so around that time, the Jackson 5 came out. Right? And so now we're living near downtown LA, and I Want You Back is out. And so I started kind of watching TV and trying to learn some of their routines. And then there was a Christmas at the YMCA, a Christmas party they were giving for the kids in the local area. So they had a dance contest going there. So I asked my mom, and she spent her last $12 to buy these boots for me so I could enter the contest because I wanted to work out my routine and everything. And she did it, and so I danced, and I won. And so I get the certificate, and there are guys just like Santa there. And so they had to take off their wigs and stuff to take a picture, like, a press picture.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Jackson 5. I mean, like, it's like, and now I'm like, so it really, what that did for me is it taught me, if you can see it, you can be it. And so I ended up, doing it. And then, of course, I worked with Whitney. Jermaine worked with her, so I met him. And then there was a movie about their lives called An American Dream, Jack's 5 story.
Yeah.
And I played bass on that soundtrack.
Wow.
So, I mean, like a kind of a full circle. And then, stayed in touch with Jermaine. Talked to Michael, was very, very, very shy a few times.
What were your experiences with Michael Jackson?
Well, he was definitely really introvert. He had to go in, because you got to go in to go out.
Yeah.
So there was never any long conversations.
How old was he when you got to know him?
When I first met him, I mean, we were around the same age. I think he's a year or two older than I am. But I had more time with Jermaine than the rest of the brothers. And I think that he was very introspective, I mean, he knew who he was, he knew what he wanted, and but sometimes it's hard when all eyes are on you, So I'll never know what that feels like, because I'm happy to be, part of the team, the machine to get things going.
Yeah.
But for to be judged and to be chased by paparazzi and all stuff. I mean, I know Whitney hated that too. She hated the paparazzi. They take a picture of you and you're yawning, and they're going like, then they do a whole headline of something that you've been drinking all night. It's just really hard in terms of to be an artist out front.
Yeah.
Because everyone, Whitney said, they love to build you up to tear you down.
Yeah. So now, I mean, you're still performing at the Oscars and at the Grammys, working with the greats. What are your favorite singers, your favorite voices of today, if you could name a few?
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely a lot. I mean, I love how both Jennifer Hudson, Cynthia Erivo, these voices are really paving their own way in both film and TV and growing. Usher, I love his evolution. He was 14 when I met him. I mean, Beyonce was 15 when I met her and worked with her. And
have you toured with Beyonce as well?
I've never toured. No, not with her or Usher.
Oh, but you played at the Grammys or Oscars with her. Right?
Yeah. I did Grammy performances for her, Grammy performances for Usher.
Nice.
And Carrie Underwood, of course, through
Were you
Idol.
part of that If I Were a Boy Grammy performance of Beyonce, where she had all the soldiers coming up on stage? No,
I didn't do that one. I did the Dangerously in Love for the Grammys. I don't know if you remember that.
It was one of my favorite songs. I mean,
So
records.
Yeah.
Crazy in Love was Dangerously in Love the album and Crazy in Love the single? No, Dangerously in Love.
they were both on the record, I think.
I'm mixing them up now. Which one was Dangerously in Love there?
It's the ballad. I'm so in love with you. What else can I do? I can't live this life without you. But without you here with me,
What an evolution also. Beyonce, what an evolution from
well, our
Destiny's
birthdays are a
Child.
day apart. One of us is younger than the other. I won't say. Except it's definitely her.
Yeah. Incredible. I think we've covered a lot of ground. I'm so happy that you allowed me to speak to you on this podcast. It's really special. You're sharing so much wisdom and so much to learn from.
Yeah, thank you, man. No, it's a pleasure because, like I said, you get what you give, so give it all away. If you have any experience, any knowledge that can help someone, or a hand, or even a warm hello, I think a lot of people go through this world unseen, because we place value on not always on the right things, and so fame, fortune, those things, here today, gone tomorrow. So don't put all of your eggs in that. Be the best person. Find what motivates you. Keep it close.
Yeah.
and never stop. It doesn't mean that you have to do this for a living. If you like singing, sing.
Yeah.
You know, and because it raises the vibration within you, you know, and it keeps you balanced.
Make people feel something. Allow them to feel something. That's really special. Yeah.
Well, and you give them permission. You know, you give them permission to be their best self.
Yeah. If you like the podcast, please like or subscribe, and there'll be another one soon. But this one's a truly special one. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.